Could Mike Gesicki be the game changer in the New England Patriots passing game in 2023? It's not as crazy as it sounds. Stick around. You're about to be locked in to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful. Thank you once again for starting your week in style here on Locked On Patriots. As your first listen, remember, we are a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts to get the latest episode as soon as it's available. And of course, a special shout out to all of you Locked On Everydayers, all of you loyalists, those of you who make Locked On Patriots possible. Unending appreciation to you, honored and humbled as always by your support. I'm your host, Mike Debate, and I cover your New England Patriots for Patriots Country of Sports Illustrated. So reach out to me. Let me know what's on your mind on Twitter at MDABATENFL. While you're out there showing some much-deserved love to that Twitterverse, please be sure to follow the Locked On Patriots account as well at LO_Patriots. And of course, it is Monday. Might not be Mock Draft Monday any longer, folks, but the hashtag is still in effect. It is Locked On Murph Monday, and the Big Green Man is going to be joining me here in just a moment because today here on the pod, we're going to be talking about the New England Patriots' biggest needs still on this roster. The 2023 NFL Draft is in the books, as is the first wave of NFL free agency. So the New England Patriots now are starting that next phase of trying to build a roster, getting these guys to play together on the field and get them into condition during the offseason. So that way, when minicamp begins in June, this team is ready to take that next step. There are still some deficiencies on this roster, and Murph and I are going to be breaking those down for you today, what we feel is the Patriots' biggest need on offense and on defense. So stick around. You are not going to want to miss this one. But one position that the Patriots might be better suited at than some of the agenda-driven contrarians out there is the tight end position. Hi, Claire. I know we're talking a little bit of tight endage. She's definitely excited, but at the same time, folks, I think there's a lot to be excited about this team, especially at this depth position. In fact, I think that one of their free agent acquisitions might have helped to make their passing game even better because Mike Gesicki has apparently had enough of working against a Bill Belichick-led defense. First meeting with the New England media since signing his one-year deal with the team back in March happened last week. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there. Several of my colleagues were, and Mike was very forthcoming, very jovial, and seemed to be very excited about playing in New England. Quoting Mike verbatim here, quote, "Definitely glad I don't have to be facing those guys," meaning the Patriots defense, anymore. And he said that with a big smile. But all kidding aside, Mike was very excited, I think very intrigued by the prospect of him being able to come in and really add a dimension to this offense that the Patriots simply did not have in 2022. After spending his first 5 seasons with the Miami Dolphins, Gesicki, of course, signing here as an unrestricted free agent, a lot of people have likened it to a prove-it deal, meaning simply that he's coming in on 1 year. Is he going to be worth the investment for more years down the line? Or is this a one-and-done situation where he goes and gets his bag of money elsewhere? Or the Patriots decide that, you know what, we're just not going to re-sign you. It just wasn't a proper fit. He made it very clear, though, that he far from settled when deciding to play in New England. That seems to be a narrative that's out there, that he had no other alternative. New England was the only one that was going to offer him a contract. I don't believe that at all. He knew the history behind this team. He knew what he was getting himself into. He even said several times that he has a ton of respect for the way things are run in New England, the tradition, the coaching staff, the opportunity. Quote unquote, he said several times, "I'm happy to be here." And you want to hear that in a tight end that's coming in that's going to be a big part of your offense in the upcoming year. Now, on the surface, Gesicki's signing immediately upgrades their offense, adding a dimension that they just did not have last season. Jonnu Smith, for all of his abilities, just was simply, one, not used correctly here in New England, and second, maybe not the right logistical fit that a lot of people thought he would be. Gesicki is a much more gifted pass catcher. There's no question about that. 62.4% of his passes were caught by him when he was in Miami. 18 of them went for touchdowns. Possesses the size, the speed to be effective as a receiver out of the slot or even out wide. And it's interesting that a lot of people are talking about him as a potential solution in the slot because I think this is where he can be most effective. The Patriots might be best served if Gesicki is working in the middle of the field. That's the area that I think they're going to have the most difficulty adapting to this year without Jacoby Myers. Mac Jones relied very heavily on Jacoby in the middle of the field to get the yardage that he needed and a sure-handed guy to make the catches. Jacoby's out in Las Vegas now. He's not coming back through that door. So even though Mike is not technically a receiver, he does have speed and agility to kind of give you what Jacoby gave you. He's not going to equal that, but I think he can help to fill the void in the slot. And when you look at the current mold of the Patriots offense with two pass catching options, one at tight end exclusively, probably Hunter Henry there, and then Gesicki kind of playing that hybrid, they can stay in 12 personnel with the one running back and the two tight ends. That's what Bill O'Brien loves to run, folks. So expect to see it. And I think that could be at the core of his offensive identity coming up this season. Gesicki fits that perfectly. Henry can be attached to the offense. Don't forget, he's going to be in the line as the prototypical wide tight end that he is. And Gesicki can play in the slot. And that gives you the option to take guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, Kendrick Bourne, Tyquan Thornton, Devontae Parker, rotate them all on the outside. Juju's going to get some time in the slot as well, without any question. Maybe even give Demario Douglas, the rookie, an opportunity to kind of slot in and get some reps there. Keyshawn Butte could be a guy that could factor into this. Patriots have a number of pass-catching options that, if they reach their potential, could really make this passing game a lot better than people are expecting. I'm not saying that they're going to rival some of the top pass-catching teams in the league, but I also don't think the doom and gloom that's surrounding them is necessarily all that warranted. Give these guys a chance to gel on the field, especially under a Bill O'Brien offense, and I think you're going to like what you see. But you can't forget Mike Gesicki's prowess in the red zone. That's where he's going to truly shine. Patriots tight ends only found the end zone 15 times over the past 4 seasons. Hunter Henry was responsible for 9 of them in 2021. Of course, as we already said, Mike Gesicki, 18 in that span. So he's beating everyone else on this roster. Pats have nowhere to go but up. And Mike is actually aware of this as well. He wants to reestablish himself as one of the better red zone threats in this league. That's going to be made a little bit easier by playing for Bill O'Brien, without any question about it. We talked to him a little bit about that last week, and he, again, was very complimentary about Bill. Said it's exciting to get into the meeting rooms, hear how things are going. He's excited to gel with him and get things going in the passing game and get this offense to work. So even though there is a change in strategy a little bit for the Patriots, Mike Gesicki is coming in and saying all the right things and doing all the right things. And one of those things that he's doing, folks, is forming a good bond with his quarterbacks. Mac Jones especially had some very complimentary things to say about Mac. As a matter of fact, he actually stayed with Mac when he was first here doing those informal throwing sessions. And it was a great experience. You know, he said he's a very cool dude, cool personality, love the energy that he brings to the throwing sessions, great arm, accurate, all that stuff. You can make the argument that he's being paid to say this or that. He's not. He is signed as a member of the Patriots, but he doesn't have to be forthcoming with these pieces of information. He wasn't asked specifically to praise Mac Jones. He was simply asked about his impressions of the offense and gave it based on what he felt was needed to be known. So take that for what you will. At the same time, he's building the relationship, he's building the chemistry with these guys. And even though they've only participated in a couple of throwing sessions to date, Mike sees potential in this offense. And we talked about this with Juju Smith-Schuster last week. These guys are seeing seedlings of a very good, very well-run offense in New England. And that is something that I think a lot of people are going to be ecstatic about, especially after everything that happened last year under the Matt Patricia and Joe Judge regime that just did not work out. And I know everybody tried their best, but it just was a failed experience. So everyone moves on. And now the Patriots are moving on as well. And Mike Gesicki is apparently happy to be catching passes from Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Great for the guys to gain camaraderie and get work. Even though Mike Gesicki's addition is not going to solve all of their problems, the addition of guys like Juju Gesicki shows that a new day is coming for the Patriots offense in 2023, and their tight endage room might end up being the reason why. But what areas still concern you? Well, Murph and I are going to give our thoughts on that in just a moment when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues. But first, folks, today's episode brought to you by our good friends over at Built. If you're looking for a delicious snack but don't want all of the sugar and the calories, then you need the best tasting protein bar ever, and that is Built. Folks, you've got to try this. I don't know how they do it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy. Only 130 calories on average, but 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get a box, because for years, we've been talking about ordering Built bars at Built.com. You can still get all your favorites at Built.com, but if you're near a Walmart, walk in, up to the pharmacy section, grab yourself a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puff. Even better, if you're near a Sam's Club, you can walk in and get a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, Brownie Batter Puff and Churro Puff. Don't delay, do it today, and you can thank me later. Visit our friends at Built.com or get your Built bars at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. Patriots fans, thank you once again for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend with us here on Locked On Patriots. Remember that Locked On Patriots is available on all platforms, so make sure to subscribe so that way you do not miss a single episode. You'll get a notification as soon as one is available. And it may not be Mock Draft Monday anymore, folks, but that does not mean that the hashtag Locked On Murph Monday has gone away. It is never going away. It is always going to be here because Mondays belong to this man right here. My good friend, the Count of Murphy Fisto himself, the legendary Thomas Murphy, opens the week in style as he always does here on Locked On Patriots. Thank you for coming to me in friendship, and thank you for joining me today, Don Murphy.
Oh, fantastic. I'm a little bummed out.
Yeah.
A little bummed out, man. We had to vault up the mock draft Mondays, and it's always so much fun. But folks, Mike's got something really good in store for you. You know, he announced on Friday that we're going to start doing mailbag Mondays with Murph. That's going to be a blast, man. I can't wait till we get into that. But today we got something else on the schedule.
We definitely do. And yeah, keep a sharp eye out, folks, for Mailbag Mondays. The first call, who knows, it might even be this week. So be sure to stay locked into Locked On Patriots. Give us a follow on the Bird app at LO_Patriots. And you know, Murph and I are going to be promoting it. So follow MDABATE NFL, follow Team Murph 207, and we'll be sure to give you the very latest when it comes to Locked On Patriots. But, you know, Murph, the first wave, the major wave of free agency is now in the books. The 2023 NFL draft is now in the books. The Patriots have even added a handful of undrafted rookie free agents. Mini camps still a little bit of ways away, but OTAs are right on the horizon. The New England Patriots roster is going to start to take shape, and we're going to start to get an idea of what this team actually looks like. A lot of upgrades have been made, some changes that will be made throughout the season, some good, maybe some not so good. But we figured what we do is take a look at what the Patriots' biggest needs are. And Murph, you and I both have been very vocal about positions of need before for the New England Patriots. So let's start on the defensive side of the ball because, you know, defense wins championships. Got to build a strong defense. Pat's defense was among the tops in the league in several major categories last season. Didn't have a whole lot of reinventing of the wheel that was going to be needed in New England in order to get this team on track. And they didn't. They essentially ran back the same crew that they had last year. Even guys that I did not expect them to resign, like Mac Wilson, Raekwon McMillan. I did expect guys like Daniel Ekuale to find their way back into the fold. Obviously, Jelani Tavai was given an extension earlier on in the season. These are players that fit the Bill Belichick mold. Made some additions also through the draft. Marte Mapu coming in now, probably a hybrid linebacker there. Keon White definitely is going to factor in. But as we all know, Murph, you know, the biggest upgrade to the defense is Christian Gonzalez pick at number 17. He definitely is going to revolutionize that cornerback room. You know as well as I, though, that Bill Belichick never feels he's dealing from a position of strength. He's always going to look at the roster and see where improvement is needed. When you put on your Belichickian crystal ball goggles, my friend, What are you seeing in this team? What area of this team still concerns you a little bit? It's a little bit. And where do you think they need to go from here to maybe add another body or two just to make sure that they're as strong as they need to be for 2023?
The Patriots still need a center fielder here,
Mm,
a proven center fielder at safety. With I know that there are a lot of moves that could be made, a lot of interchangeable pieces, but replacing a ball player of Devin McCourty's
mm,
stature back there is not going to be a one-man job. And while Bill has a lot of moving pieces, a lot of those chess pieces that everybody's waiting to see what he does
mm,
with. Uh, I think another person back there, a good quality uh, veteran, to bring, because this is still, it's still kind of a young group. There's some vets back there, but bringing in somebody else that is strictly a center fielder could be a real boom to this Patriots defense that was just so lights out last year. I think what they've done up front has been really cool. A little bit outside of the box from the way that we were thinking that they were going to attack this draft. But they got another guy that could play on the edge. They've got a guy. They brought a guy in that could possibly uh, play both linebacker and safety. But it's the free safety that we need. We got the lockdown cornerback. They brought back Jones. Now let's go take care of a safety. Let's see who's out there.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you mentioned that because that is definitely near the top of my list. It's not at the top of my list, folks. I'm
No.
going to give you my thoughts in just a moment, but let's stay on the safety position for just a second because I think you make a very interesting point. Devin McCourty is not someone that you're going to replace overnight. As a matter of
No.
fact, it may take 2 or 3 years before you start to really see what the free safety position is going to look like long term for the
Yep.
Patriots. Not an easy task.
No.
I'm just going to say it. I mean, I don't think you're going to find anybody with that total package ability that Devin had, but someone that can come in and play the free safety position. When you look at the Patriots safety depth chart right now, that depth chart is definitely talented. Kyle Duggar, Jalen Mills, Adrian Phillips, Jabril Peppers. All 4 talented players. I think any team in the National Football League would love to employ any one of those 4. Everyone is assuming that Jalen Mills is going to be able to step in and play that role. He's someone that can play the safety position. He did it very
Yep.
well in Philadelphia. And I think this is a great positional move for him. I love Jalen's game. This is in no way a knock to Jalen Mills.
But
But
who's
at the same
thereafter?
time, exactly. That's the point.
Where's the
Exactly.
next man up? Who's my
Yeah.
next man up? I got a name. You got a name, Mike?
Yeah. For the next man up for that one, well, I'll let you
Yeah.
go ahead and take this because
Okay.
you're the guest.
I really like
Like
John
how I got out of
Johnson.
that one?
I really like John Johnson in this spot. He of late of the Cleveland Browns.
Hmm.
He was in he signed a 4-year, $40 million contract with him 3 years ago, and they've decided to go the draft route and to bring in somebody else, save themselves a little money. But I think that he's somebody that could go back, come in here on a 1-year deal, maybe a 1 year plus an option deal. We'll see what happens there, and really solidify that back end. He'll bring that veteran leadership to the room, and veteran knowledge to Gerard Mayo and his defense.
Don't forget, there is another wave still to come here, folks. Miguel was very eloquent in how he outlined exactly what the Patriots need to do financially, not only to maintain operational costs, but also be aggressive in
Yep,
adding another body or two if they feel this roster needs an upgrade to compete with what everybody's saying is just the stacked AFC, and the
it
Patriots are
is.
essentially being, left by the roadside. But I wouldn't be so quick to count this roster out, folks. Not
No.
just yet. Let's see how they look on the field. Let's get a few training camp practices. Let's get a couple of preseason games even in before we
Yeah.
start to write the epitaph for the New England Patriots in 2023. Murph, atop my list of needs or concerns, this is going to surprise some people, but I still say is the interior of the defensive line, only
Okay.
because I'm not sure what their plans are for Lawrence Guy. We know that the contract situation, do they cut bait? Do they try to put him on the trade market? Are they going to commit to him? If that's indeed the case, then I think you're looking at Keon White coming in here and being a type of run stopper that I think you're going to see him be in the first maybe 1-2 seasons before he settles into his spot on the edge. Because I still think he's such a raw talent at that position. It's going to be tough to anoint him as a 5 tech right out of the gate.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of confusion here on Locked On Patriots. A lot of people thought that I had projected him to come in and be a 5 tech player the moment he steps on the field in Foxborough.
Right.
That's not the case, folks.
No.
I do not think he will be. That's where I believe he will end up. I think
Yep.
he has the tools to be a 5 tech player. I think he will be in shorter order than a lot of people are saying, but not going to happen this year. So if that's the case, and where does that leave guys like Sam Roberts, Daniel Aquale, Carl Davis is still a member of this team as
Right.
well. The reason why this area is a concern is because I think all of the in-house options they have right now are not solidified beyond Devon Godchow and Christian Barmore, who I think is the most stable member of all of those guys that I just mentioned.
Oh,
What are
yeah.
your thoughts on the interior of the offensive line? Am I panicking a little too much here?
I like the people that are there, but no, we're on the same page. It can't hurt to add another body into the mix. Let's see what's happening through camps. Who gets cut, who doesn't, who's not working out with their new defensive coordinators. You just never know what's going to happen. And like you said, there are a few guys out there right now. I mean, Shelby Harris is still out there. Michael Brockers is still out there. The Dominican Sue, do not do that to me. Okay, the Linval Joseph, of the, I think he's 104 years old right now, or I could be exaggerating a little bit. Christian Covington is out there. So there are options, and there are more that are going to come up. But no, I'm right there with you. When you're dealing with the size and strength of the human beings that are slamming each other time after time, snap after snap at these positions on both sides of the ball, you need depth there. So no, you're not jumping the gun. You're not a nervous Nelly, bud.
Pats fans, put your feelings in the comments below. Let us know what you think the Patriots' biggest need is on defense. Have they already addressed it? Is the defense pretty well intact, or are there still areas you feel the Patriots could use 1 or 2 additional bodies, or at least some additional clarity as to exactly what their plans are for the 2023 season? But, Murph, it's always fun to talk about defense, but offense is what puts butts in the seats. And that's exactly what we're going to do here to close the show today on Locked On Patriots. Where do they need to go in order to ensure that Mac Jones has all the weapons he needs to succeed? Or is that where they need to start? Murph and I are going to talk about that in just a moment when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues. Pats fans, thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. Today, we are talking about potential Patriots deficiencies. What areas of the roster are still a concern now that the 2023 NFL Draft is in the books? And to do so, we've got the legend himself, Akana Murphy Fisto. Thomas Murphy of E2G Sports joins me here today. And Murph, we talked a lot about the defense in the first segment. You mentioned free safety, probably the biggest glaring omission on this roster right now. I talked a little bit about my uneasiness regarding the interior of the defensive line, but we've arrived at the time that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, and that is offensive deficiencies. This is a team that did not finish well offensively in 2022.
Nope.
They've made a lot of upgrades to their coaching staff. I think that's a big part of it. Some will make the argument that they have not made sufficient upgrades to their offense in order to be competitive in the AFC. I think they have, but I still think there's areas that are in need of improvement. When you look at this team first, Bud, what is your biggest need for improvement on the Patriots roster? What area of the offense still concerns you most?
The offensive line, specifically offensive tackle. And we talked about putting butts in seats. What puts butts in seats more than a right tackle? I know
Beautiful.
you all guys.
I love it.
You guys all wanted me to come out and say third down back or slot receiver or something to that. No, I'm happy. I'm happy there. I'm not thrilled with the fact that they didn't take somebody that I really we're not going to go back. But no, it's offensive tackle. Okay, and right, if I hear Isaiah Wynn's name one more time, I think I'm going to scream Mr. Wonderful has not gotten his bag of cash and is still out there. And if one more person DMs me and says, Murph, why don't they just bring back Win? I'm going to jump off a bridge.
All kidding aside, I happen to agree with you. I think that this team right now, in terms of a true offensive tackle, is not very well equipped in terms of the future, especially. I mean, Riley Rafe, Calvin Anderson are going to come in. They're going to get their chance, I think, to compete. Right now, if you asked me today to make a decision, I would probably say Riley Reif gets to start out of anybody that they have on this roster. But that's not to say that Connor McDermott's not going to get his opportunities. I think Sidy Sow is going to get his opportunities to start there. We've heard a lot about the fact that the Patriots view him as a potential tackle. That makes some sense to me, especially the way that he plays. I think they could go that direction. I am in full agreement with you that I don't think they move Michael Wainu over to tackle, especially with him entering a contract year. I think that's the biggest, evidence right there.
That was problem one last year with the flip flopping around. Okay, that completely threw a monkey wrench into everything, and to this year, I really don't think that Bill wants to weaken two spots. Okay, they're finding a better right guard on this planet would be a really difficult situation. Okay, I would really love to see him tied up for another 3 years here in New England, but no, I'm not borrowing from Peter to pay Paul here.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd be taking away one of the highest graded linemen on this team when it comes to Pro Football Focus, but also I think they're most complete lineman right now. And I think he's settled into a spot that Shaq Mason held here for a number of years. Right guard is a very important position, folks. I know tackles get the glamour because they're sealing the edges, they're protecting the quarterback, but if you don't have solid play in the interior at the guard positions, you're going to fall apart, and you're going to fall apart quick. One of the reasons why Joe Thuney was so beloved here at left guard is because of the way he played that position. I think Michael Wainu on the right side is equally as valuable, and I think it's only going to make Cole Strange an even better left guard this season coming up. Murph, let's stay on the offensive line for a moment because there are rumblings out there. We've heard them, social media mostly, not a whole lot of evidence to back this up, but supposedly AFC representatives will be kind. Representatives, I think, is the word we should use. Wouldn't be gentleman. It wouldn't be gentlemanly of me to use other words to describe it.
That's
are questioning what the future of David Andrews is going to be on this team, especially with Jake Andrews being selected. You got Cody Rusey on this team. Got guys like Chasen Hines, Andrew Stuber that could possibly come in and play a little bit of center. James Ferentz can do it. A lot of people are wondering what this means. Your gut reaction to this, because from what I'm hearing, there's not a whole lot of base to any question about what David Andrews is going to do, especially this year. I don't think there should be.
No, David Andrews is going to come and he's going to ball out. What Bill did in the draft was just make sure that he had a suitable backup for David if he went down. If by for some reason was short a center, he wasn't going to be calling on somebody that couldn't step up when the next man up came up. Okay, he's not moving a guard over to play center. He wants somebody that has squatted in the mud, had his hand on a ball, can look across the line and make the calls that a center has to make. And I think he addressed that in the draft.
Yeah, he did, especially with Jake Andrews. And how do you like that? Now, you think I'm good with my alliteration. Bill loves continuity, folks. Found a guy with the same last name. You don't even have to change anything. The jersey can be swapped. Well, no, you can't do that. The numbers, I understand. But
now we got to put a first initial on jerseys.
That is true. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, it's true. Well, you got enough Joneses on the team. You might as well start packing the offense with Andrews. But
that's it.
Bottom
they
line,
went out and they got all these extra letters just to throw there, for the Joneses last year. And you got to buy 24 of them, people. You can't get them in a set of 12. You can't.
No, you can't. Absolutely.
You got to buy them. You got to buy them a set of 24.
Yep. When you buy the jerseys, you got to buy the numbers. It's like hot dogs and hot dog buns. They're a little off, but you got to buy the bigger package in order to satisfy the full amount.
It's not a sandwich. Okay, by
No, it
law,
isn't.
I have to bring this up. If somebody mentions hot dogs, it's not a sandwich. If I come to your house and you offer me a sandwich and I say sure, and you bring me a hot dog,
Thank you very much, folks. Good night. We appreciate all of your support here on Locked On Patriots. No, I'm only kidding. I am
there you go.
only kidding. But look, bottom line, you're absolutely right when it comes to the center position. I don't believe Andrews is going anywhere. I don't believe either Andrews is going anywhere.
No,
Jake is definitely the future. They're going to groom him for this. David is not getting any younger. He's had his health issues in the past. I love David Andrews. He's not
me
going to
too.
play forever,
Nope.
folks. So I think you're looking at the next couple of years of him trying to prepare Jake to have that
Yeah.
baton handed off. And in the meantime, you will see him in situational football. And
Right.
if David does go down, you do have a solid guy to come in to be able to shoulder the load for a little
Ferenc
bit.
might be gone.
Yeah,
Okay,
Ferenc might be gone
Ferenc
or a
might
practice
be gone.
squatter. Yeah.
We've got a lot of we've got a lot of guards, and now we've got a dedicated center. So you may see names like Ferenc gone.
That's a possibility. Yannick Adjust is someone that I've been trying to
Yeah,
drum
we've
up
all
here for a number
yeah,
of years. I think that situation may have reached its pinnacle. I think the Patriots brought some of these guys back in the initial wave of free agency in case the draft board didn't
right.
fall the way they wanted it to. It did. And I think the Patriots got the offensive line help they're looking for, adding guys like Rafe, like
Like Sal.
Anderson, City Sow, of course, in the
Yep.
draft. And we're for Antonio Maffi. He's going to be
Yeah.
someone that is going to be very
Now,
much a
now,
part of this as well.
right now, there's somebody that we're talking about. While we're talking about a right tackle, that I'm not sure. I'm sure could go in and take snaps. I'm not sure how much tackle he played in college. Do you know, Mike?
Sparingly. His
Yeah.
experience is much more in the
Right.
interior. If he's going to play tackle, he's got to shed a little bit of weight. And
Yeah.
and here I am, like, that's really not very. It's kind of disingenuous coming from someone that looks like
We
me.
don't get
But
paid to be in
at the
shape.
same time, that's true. That is true. But at the same time, in order for him to man that position, especially on the right side, you're going to need to shed
Right.
a little bit. He's going to have to get a little bit more athletic. That could be a possibility. The Patriots may work with him. He may come into camp leaner, meaner, and ready to roll because he does have the athleticism, folks. Look at some of the tape on Maffi. That's why Murph and
Yeah.
I were so enamored with this kid
Right.
when everyone was sending in mock drafts and Maffi kept showing up on them. We kept applauding that decision and really liking it because of the athleticism we kept seeing from him at this position. So that could be interesting as well. I do think he's more of a situational rotational guard, maybe with their eye on the future if Owenu does indeed decide that he's going to find greener pastures elsewhere. And by
Right.
green, I mean that large bag that's waiting for him somewhere, and well deserved. He's had a tremendous tenure here in New England, and we hope it's going to be the Patriots that are going to give that to him. But I don't know. They're stacking the
I
line
don't know
pretty
either.
well here.
I mean,
It's not
we
looking
could have fixed all
looking
this with
iffy.
Cody Mosh.
Mm.
If they grabbed Mosh in where I wanted,
Yeah.
I had a better draft than Bill. And Bill had a good draft, but I had a
Yeah,
better
you did.
draft.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
They were all
At least.
there. They were all there,
Yep.
right where I wanted them picked. They were all there.
Exactly. And you had the chance. The chance was there. Everything was there. Murph is still in mourning over Darnell Washington, folks.
Oh,
But you know what? Bottom line, that leads me quite nicely into my final question for you, because again, we wouldn't be doing our jobs here on Locked
no.
On Patriots unless we addressed the skill positions. Murph, wide receiver, third down back, tight end. Which one of these do the Patriots still need to address to give Mac Jones adequate weapons heading into 2023?
I'm really not sure. Probably a third down back.
Mm-hmm.
If you really wanted one, I am not in love with James Robinson. I
Mm-hmm.
like him, but I'm not in love with. Let's see what Pierre Strong can do this summer in camp. Maybe he can step up into it. But I had that guy too, didn't I? I
You
had that
did.
guy too,
Now
and he
that
ended
would
up
have,
going on. He ended up
yeah.
getting almost being Mr. Irrelevant, but he's going to go play with his dad, and that's my man Deuce Vaughn. I would have loved to have
Mm-hmm.
seen him here, but yeah, it's third down back. It's that guy that we have always been so able to count on
Mm-hmm.
over the past 15 years, 20 years of this franchise. You know, and he was Mr. White all over again, just a little bit tinier. And I couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask for a lot for Christmas, Bill. I didn't. I would have been happy with just that the one kid, just the one little toy that came with all the batteries included, and that was Deuce Vaughn. But it's the third down back. We'll see how that shakes out. I would have been a little happier, a little more stable back there with at least two guys that could come in on third down and give Stevenson that blow that we all know that he needs, because he is a three down back.
Mhm.
If you can give him a down off here and there, maybe we'll sort this stuff out, and he's back in there on third down, and gives people a little more pause as to what's going to happen, and I can see that too. Um, but no, that guy that you can depend on third down to go and move the chains and get you that 8 yards when you're pinned back there.
Mm. Folks, stay tuned in holiday time where Murph will give his rendition of All I Want for Christmas is Deuce. That's going to be
Yep.
available on all streaming platforms. No, I'm kidding, folks. I think you make an interesting point, but I will counter that point by
Go
saying, do
ahead.
you think that Ty Montgomery can step up into that role? A lot of people forget he's still on this roster.
Yeah.
Obviously an injury-riddled 2022 prevented him from ever seeing the field, but I know
Yeah.
the Patriots had high hopes for this kid. Is this
He
someone that
did.
can carry that load?
I'm not sure how much of a load he can carry coming off the injury plague season that he had last year.
Mm,
It's a nice thought, and I would like it to work out. I'm just a little more of a um you're down to 3 eggs. Let's pick up another dozen while we're at the store, just in case, somebody decides to make an omelet before you make cookies that night.
I know a lot of people had some high hopes for this kid because he really looked like he was coming into his own during camp last year, and then suffering the injury and not being able to see, the season. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes back and what
Yep.
he's got left in the tank.
But
Folks,
everybody
I
else,
know.
I'm happy with. I am.
Yeah.
I was happy. I was happy with the draft picks they made, the dice rolls, and I was, more than happy going into this draft. As you saw in my mock draft, I didn't pick a wide receiver. I didn't pick a pass catcher. I grabbed a tight end, but other than that, I didn't get that slot guy that everybody wanted. I'm happy with this group. I think if the offensive line can give Mac the time that he needs, that these guys can give you the 32 points a game that you're all searching for.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. I think that I was satisfied with what they did at wide receiver. I'm a little higher on Keishon Butte than some. Some are very high
Right.
on him.
Some are really high, but
He really, really high on him. Think he has a first round talent. He very well could when we see him on the field. So far, things are falling into line. He's the first rookie to sign his draft
yep,
deal. It's those
eager
are
to
little
get in.
signs. Those are the signs that you want to look
Yep,
for. And if he's serious about rehabilitating his image and really being able to come back from a tough injury, then I think Keishon Butte has the opportunity to do
yep,
so. And at tight end, I think that the Patriots have their two guys this year. I think Hunter Henry is an extension candidate. Gesicki has a good season. All of a sudden, you may see him come back.
right.
And don't sleep on Scotty Washington. I think he may be
No,
a very sneaky,
good call.
sneaky possibility to get that third tight end role. I know everybody's
Yep,
assuming that it's going to go to Matt Sokol. I think the Patriots see a
no,
lot in Scotty. I think there's a lot of athleticism, blocking ability. This kid has it, and I think he could be someone that could make this roster in a pinch. So, folks, tell us where we went wrong or where we went right. What are your offensive concerns? Where do the Patriots need to make a slight upgrade in order to make sure that they remain in contention in what is going to be a very difficult division and a very difficult conference overall? Murph and I love to have our fun at the expense of some other teams, but this is a
yeah.
stacked conference
Have your
this
fun
year.
at our
It's going
expense.
to be a
We
lot of
don't
fun.
mind. Just don't talk about our mothers.
That's right.
Other than that, we're fine.
But in all actuality, folks, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to spend with us here on Locked On Patriots today. But what can I say? It may not have been Mock Draft Monday, but it's still a
No.
blast here on Locked On Murph
Hmm.
Monday. And don't forget, watch for the hashtag Mailbag Monday, because
Yep.
we will be instituting that very shortly to get your thoughts, your questions, your concerns answered all right here on Locked On Patriots. But before I let you go, my friend, floor is yours. Please let everyone know where they can find you, what you have coming out this week from the great pen, the great voice of Thomas Murphy, as always.
Well, One Patriots Place has taken the week off. We got this week off. We're gonna sit back and reboot. But of course, you can find all my writing over at e2gsports.com. I got a nice little piece up there on Kenley Jansen that dropped yesterday. Thank you all for checking that out already. 2,000 hits in a single day. Not too shabby.
Not too
Good
shabby.
on you people.
Pretty
Good on
good.
you people.
Pretty
And
good.
other than that, I might be back here later on during the week. Who knows?
Oh, there's a very distinct possibility that could happen, folks. We know you love your Murph, and if you do, keep a sharp eye out on that feed. That's why it's so important that you download, subscribe to, follow Locked On Patriots wherever you get your podcasts, especially on YouTube, so you do not miss an episode. And of course, a definite big shout out and much love to all of you everydayers out there. You continue to make Locked On Patriots what it is, and you continue to give us inspiration to make it everything it could be and it should be. And we will continue to work in terms of giving you the best quality content that we possibly can here on Locked On Patriots. And in the meantime, thank you for your loyalty. On behalf of my good friend, the Count of Murphy Fisto himself, I'm Mike Debate. Stay safe, stay well, be the change that you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you again here tomorrow on Locked On Patriots.
It's not a sandwich. It's not.